Yeehaw! We're back with another episode on the Daily Vedantic. And today's episode is on what is, what exists. And that is you. You exist. There are very few philosophies, Vedanta and perhaps a few schools of Tibetan Buddhism, where all you need to look at is the here and now, to understand the totality of the universe and the totality of what this philosophy is saying. We did an episode on that recently, talking about the fact that you don't need to believe in anything in the past. You don't need to have any superstition about the future or which future events are going to happen to bring some totality to the fold, to end or right some cosmic wrong. You don't have to go to the past or the future. You, here, and now are the only three elements in this entire philosophy. When you get down to it, what the masters within this philosophy have said for thousands of years, it's just those three things. They are only talking about you, here, and now. The practice of self-inquiry is about you, here, and now. Not about some other cosmic entity. Not about some legalistic view, laws that are handed down to follow, to potentially get into the world's most epic amusement park, that cosmic heaven we've been told so much about. There is eternal bliss, eternal peace, prosperity. But the elements in the equation, finding yourself there, are you, here, and now. That's what we're told within this philosophy. And to continue this conversation around how this is one of the very, very few philosophies in the world that puts forth no superstition whatsoever about what's going to happen in the future. Similarly, I was recently reflecting on a lecture that I had heard that just spelled it out just as bluntly, that you exist, almost too bluntly. It is like the smell we no longer perceive. It is like the sight we no longer see because it is so just, plain. But what is profound is that is something you can know. There have been debates for thousands of years, and there will be debates for thousands of years of whether God exists, of which prophet was right, of which saint said it in the right way, of who was and wasn't the Son of God, who was on the good side, the bad side. There will be endless debate about that, and there has been endless debate about such things. But what there is no debate on is whether or not you exist. Think about that. In the grand infinitude that is the universe, you have that which exists. And then you have an even grander infinitude of nothingness, of that which does not exist. And you just happen to be on the side that does exist. You are. Within this philosophy, we're told the three practices are question everything. Don't take anything for granted. And study and reflect daily. At length about questioning everything, questioning all of the assumptions externally, questioning all of the assumptions internally that we have as a culture or as an individual, all of these things that we just say, oh, well, yeah, that's what it is. That's what we all agree on. That's what we're told. We're told to question that. Even question the questioning. Is questioning valuable? Certainly question every aspect of this philosophy. It's not just encouraged, it is the primary practice. Nothing should pass into our minds if it hasn't gone through our own rational reasoning first. The third practice of study and reflect daily, we talk about that often as well. But this reflection today is on perhaps the thing that we take most for granted. You exist. You could debate for years of whether you existed before, of whether you'll exist after. But when it comes to your here and now, it is totally and completely yours. Because you are. Because in the infinity of what is not, this philosophy is calling all of your attention to a simple and profound fact that you are. How could your life change by not taking that for granted? How can your outlook, your perceptions, your notions of truth, how can those change if you no longer take that for granted? It's the one thing we can know with absolute certainty. And it's the thing we're so quick to throw away as meaningless knowledge. Maybe it is the most meaningful knowledge you'll ever have. The simple and profound fact that you are. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Daily Vedantic. This reflection is part of a free repeating 2-year course in Advaita Vedanta. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of the Upanishads, arguably the oldest philosophical texts on earth, you can begin with episode 1, which gives the 15-minute overview of the whole philosophy of Vedanta, or you can join the journey with any episode at any point. But the critical aspect of this course, of understanding and mastering anything, is to study and reflect, even for 10 to 15 minutes on the timeless each day, preferably at the start of your day. As is said in this philosophy, reflection is 100,000 times as powerful as listening. So listen, journal, sit with, discuss these concepts, or ask questions at thedailyvedantic.com with our AI-powered chatbot, informed by about 700 episodes here, as regularly as one can, if you want to see clarity and peace almost effortlessly unfold in your daily life. And if it doesn't result in a near immediate increase in clarity and peace, then toss aside and feel free to never listen again. One of the things that you might notice is after 7 or 8 days in a row, this doesn't feel like a discipline. This feels like a visit with a best friend, to dive into the timeless with daily reflection. Within a few days, it becomes one of your favorite parts of the day. You can also find out more, including news about in-person events in Los Angeles and beyond, at the Daily Vedantic on Instagram, or through our weekly newsletter at thedailyvedantic.com. Additionally, check out the links in our show notes for more resources like the books that are mentioned most frequently in the episodes, including Vedanta Treatise, perhaps the simplest and most straightforward read on this philosophy I've ever come across. until next time, and from the entire team that works on the Daily Vedantic project, thanks for listening.